finish this campaign soon. This is the pickle room. Check this room out. It's a little pantry. Why a pantry? Because monsters have to eat. Believe it or not, the creatures that dwell in this dungeon exist, even when chumps aren't parading through their shit. The room reeks of vinegar. Shelves line the walls on either side of you that contain oversized pickle jars, which probably accounts for the stink. Most of the jars are filled with just brine, but a dozen still contain enormous pickles nearly 2 feet long. The jars are wider than the shelves, so they stick out over the edge. Also, there's a 10-foot ladder blocking the middle of the pantry, leaning against one of the upper shelves. This room is hard to move through without touching at least one of the jars. Any medium or larger creature that attempts to cross the pantry must succeed on a DC 15 dexterity acrobatics check, or jostle a jar as it moves through the room. A creature that fails to check by 5 or more knocks a jar down, causing it to smash on the ground, shatter into 1,000 vinegar-soaked pieces, and release its contents. I don't like where it says see jostling jars below for a terrifying outcome. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be reading this either way. So I'm going to get there. I think it's a waste of time and text to do that. Pickle power. Most of the pickles in this room are lycanthropicals. In hybrid form. These terrors use the Twig Blight stat block with the following adjusted ability: false appearance, while the lycanthropical remains motionless. It is indistinguishable from a pickle. Once free of its jar, a lycanthropical grows pickle arms and pickle legs and proceeds to chase and attack any non-pickles in the room. Characters who choose to battle with the lycanthropicals must make additional dexterity acrobatic checks each round to avoid interacting with the jars, risking the release of more frenzied fruits. Yeah, cucumbers are fruits. Fight me. No more than 6 lycanthropicals can attack the characters at one time. If additional pickle jars are shattered while 6 lycanthropicals are at large, they release only slightly spicy but otherwise normal pickles. Jostling jars. If a jar is jostled, read this terrifying portent. The 2 feet long pickle in the jar you just jostled turns to face you. Which is to say, the pickle has a face. Let me say that again. It's a pickle with a face. It starts to headbutt the jar from the inside, edging it toward, you guessed it, the edge of the shelf. Left to its own devices, the lycanthropical in the jar sends the jar plummeting to the ground at the end of the next round. Upon doing so, the jar shatters, releasing the lycanthropical. If a jar is knocked off the shelf with a really bad check, it automatically smashes to free the lycanthropical within. Either way, the tiny terror immediately springs up and attacks the closest non-pickle. This alerts 1d4 other lycanthropicals, which start headbutting their own jars, and which escape at the end of the following round unless thwarted. A character can use an action to pick up a jar with an agitated pickle and place it safely on the ground, preventing it from smashing. Curse of lycanthropickling. A humanoid creature has a 20% chance to be afflicted with the curse of lycanthropickling after being wounded by a lycanthropickle. Sorry for my stomach. The curse lasts for 3 days. Each long rest the creature spends in a vat or jar of pickling brine prolongs the curse by 1 day. The lycanthropickle can either resist its curse or embrace it. By resisting the curse, the lycanthropickle retains its normal alignment and personality while in humanoid form. It lives its boring life as it always has, burying deep in its raging, murderous urges, just like the rest of us. Some individuals see little point in fighting the curse and accept what they are. They can assume pickle form or hybrid form at will. Most lycanthropickles that embrace their briny natures succumb to bloodlust, becoming evil, opportunistic creatures that prey on the weak. In hybrid form, a lycanthropickle has the same statistics as a twig blight, with the altered ability noted in Area 9. In pickle form, a lycanthropickle has no statistics and indistinguishable from a pickle because it's a pickle. The more I say pickle, it makes me think of Cinemasker, where they've got shit pickle. He's always saying shit pickle, 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 shit pickle, shit pickle, shit pickle. And for some reason, I just really liked how it sounds. Shit pickle, 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 shit pickle, shit pickle, pickle, pickle. The butt room. That's so sad. This book should be put together better. It's a paperback, and I think paperback should be able to handle the bending back of said spine. A pair of perfectly rounded stone mounds, cleft artfully straight down the middle, fills the room. It looks a lot like a butt from where you're standing. Something shiny glints near the ceiling, about 4 feet above what can only be described as this huge butt. Just calling it like I see it here, folks. Each butt cheek is made of polished stone that gleams in any light. It takes a successful DC-12 dexterity check, acrobatics check, to scramble up either cheek's baby smooth surface to see what the shiny thing is. But it's a trap. The shiny thing is a plaque written in common, which can be read by any character who moves within a few feet of it, including those who clamber up and perch atop the stone butt. It reads, "Say goodbye to your butt." Have the poor sap reading the plaque make a DC 15 dexterity throw. On a failure, the trap magically steals their whole ass. On a success, it steals only half their ass. The creature can pick which half. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to go to electric cars in the future so that we don't have any more really loud vehicles. I think the only reason that people like their vehicles to be loud is for an ego reason, and not just because they like it. It's because it makes them seem cool. I was almost one of those people, but not anymore. I'm ready for everything to be quiet. On the bright side, this doesn't inflict damage or pain. The creature, the creature just doesn't have a butt anymore. Their legs still attached to their body, albeit awkwardly in a way that makes sitting uncomfortable. To be sure to mention this as often as possible for the rest of the adventure. I like to say they look like standing up frogs with no butt. Butt cache. The butt trap contains an extra-dimensional space full of stolen butts claimed by the trap. Some of the butts belong to the zombies in Area 15, while others are tied to the Order of the Buttless in Area 32. Some of them even look like they could be famous. Is that George Washington's butt? I'm not saying it is, but I'm not saying it isn't. I'm sure we can pick a better famous person than that. The cache can be opened only by destroying the butt trap with a genius weapon called the Churd Cannon. If the butt trap is destroyed, all the imprisoned butts within fly back to their owners like fleshy butterflies in a river of celestial light and are automatically restored. Room 11, Orc Gift Room. Are orcs evil? Normally, evil is hard to pin down, but according to the parameters of this game, evil is a thing, and orcs are of that thing. A follow-up question: is wrecking a family's holiday dinner and gift giving evil? What if that family is evil? You tell me, because that's what's about to go down here in Area 12. Oh, and in Area 12. Read the following to set the tragic scene. 6 orcs kneeling near the south wall of this room are busy stuffing various goods inside sacks and crates. They grunt to each other every so often and occasionally show off an object, such as a vegetable or a sock, to the approval of the other orcs around them, paying no attention to anything but their weird task. Orcs bearing gifts. If anyone speaks orc, a successful DC 15 wisdom perception check. Over here is one of the 6 orcs speak up to say, "Hurry it up, Grobble Gob. We can't be late." The orcs then stand up and make their way to Area 12. That is, unless the characters grab their attention. The orcs know this dungeon is crazy dangerous, so they defend themselves if attacked. However, they aren't otherwise inclined to fight as they hurry to Area 12. It goes here. Orcs bearing gifts. If anyone speaks orc... Okay, yeah. Here I am. The orcs then stand up and make their way to Area 12 unless the characters grab their attention. However, they aren't. Otherwise, 3 of the orcs are armed with great axes. And the other 3 carry only the large burlap sacks they have slung over their shoulders. Replace those orcs' great axe attack with the following attack: a whack sack. Okay. Melee weapon attack, +3 to hit, 5 feet reach, 1 target. It would be either 5 damage or 1d4 +3 bludgeoning damage. The western door. A thick door made out of some sort of fantasy wood opens onto the hallway leading to Area 12. The door is locked, but can be opened with the key that the orcs here are carrying. The lock can also be picked with a successful DC 17 dexterity check using thieves' tools, or the door can be kicked open with a DC 15 strength athletics check. The treasure is: one of the sack-bearing orcs has a funky orc key on their belt. It opens the door leading to Area 12. The burlap sacks. Wow, what is happening? one of the sack-bearing orcs has a funky orc key on their belt. It opens the door leading to Area 12. The burlap sacks and crates are filled with dirty root vegetables and other small morsels of food, as well as a pair of mismatched socks and 4 thingies from the thingies table. Each thingy is wrapped in scraps of cloth. Roll a d8. Let's see what thingy we can get. A dead scare beetle the size of your hand. 2 crayons. You choose the colors. Look at you go. A dead sprite inside a cracked glass bottle. A set of musical bone pipes the size of your hand. A gold monocle frame without a lens. A glass eye the size of your hand. A flask, but it's empty. Too empty. A vial of blood. You're somehow certain it's your own. Room 12. Festive dinner room. A warm fire crackles in a fireplace along the far wall of this chamber. Several orcs sit around a long table that's set for a feast, complete with a large covered silvered platter at the center. The smell of baking bread and spiced potatoes fills the room. At least 5 adult orcs occupy this room, and as many as 11 if all the orcs from Area 11 manage to make it home for supper. If the characters killed any orcs in Area 11, they'll note empty place settings at the table for any missing orcs. Once they make their presence known to this group of orcs, the characters see 2 juvenile orcs. Non-combatants emerge from under the table. They point at the characters in the lead and say in orc, with tears in their eyes, "You're not Mommy. Did she send you with my present?" Regardless of how depressing things get, and even if all the orcs from Area 11 are safe and sound, the adult orcs move to put themselves between the characters and the 2 kids. Some of the orcs are pretty old, and they start yelling at the heroes, demanding to know what in the 9 hells is going on. Again, an orc. If the characters don't leave and can't convince the orcs that they mean no harm, the orcs assume harm is coming and they attack. One of the elderly orcs tries to escape, with the terrified, bawling children fleeing the dungeon if successful. Main course. Remember, orcs are evil, whatever that means in in a morally relativistic society. Regardless of their healthy family relationships. Before the characters crashed the feast, the orcs were gathered around the table for a delicious meal of goblin meat. Lifting the cover of the silver platter at the center of the table reveals a bound and gagged but still living male goblin. If freed, the goblin expresses his gratitude by swearing a blood oath to the party. He follows them, whether they want him to or not, until he has repaid their generosity. His name is Frumful, and he spits when he talks. Role-playing Frumful. A down-on-his-luck goblin, Frumful has absolutely nothing left to lose, yet he's an internal optimist. He truly believes that everything will work out. Sure, he has his doubts sometimes, like when he was about to be eaten alive only moments ago. But he doggedly clings to the notion that the multiverse has a plan. He's fond of saying, "Pay it forward," though he thinks that saying means one good turn deserves another. This explains why if anyone gives him a hand, he refuses to leave their side until he's repaid them in kind. When faced with danger, Frumful does his best to put himself between it and the character he's sworn to protect. If he fails at that mission, he bolts away from danger as fast as he can. The Mage Room, Room 13. A narrow walkway 2 feet across hugs the wall of this circular chamber. Beyond the edge of the walkway yawns a nasty 20-foot deep pit, evidently a trap that succeeded at its intended purpose. An attractive young woman in wizard's robes is impaled on a nasty-looking spike at the pit's bottom and grasping for breath. If she's some kind of illusion, she's a convincing one. A figure at the bottom of the pit is an evil mage named Glizzlegus. She was a member of the last group I ran through this dungeon. She rolled a 1 on her dexterity saving throw and has 1 point remaining. When Glizzlegus spots the characters, she lifts her head. "Please help me," she rasps. Sounds like she's got some lung damage. Whoops. Mage surgery. You can figure out how the characters can get Glizzlegus out of the pit. Even once that's done, though, she still needs medical assistance so that gigantic spike hole doesn't kill her. If magical healing isn't available, a successful DC 15 wisdom medicine check is required to suture her skills. If Beth is playing, encourage her not to use healing magic and give her advantage on the skill check. If she is healed, Gliz pretends to be nice until her sudden but inevitable betrayal. She doesn't know jack about the dungeon and wants all its treasures for herself. Any character who succeeds on a DC Wisdom Insight check figures out she's trouble with a capital T. I don't know how to say this word. Scenic dog. I don't know if I'm gonna try to say it. Well, what have we here? Let's take a look. Some kind of designs carved in relief on the floor. From above, you realize that these designs are actually dozens of tiny hallways connected to tiny rooms. Some have teensy treasure chests, while others feature tiny traps that would have trouble catching a mouse. But it's not mice these traps are after. Then trail off dramatically. Oh, sorry. That was a note to myself. I shouldn't have read that aloud. You can see I kind of got here in the campaign. A quick inspection of the relief card floor makes the following facts clear. This room is filled with a top-down view of a minuscule scale dungeon. An adventuring party comprised of a tiny cleric, a tiny fighter, a tiny rogue, and a tiny wizard cheerfully slog their way through the tiny dungeon. So cute. Lying on the stone floor outside the minuscule dungeon are several carved wooden figurines, a green dragon, an ogre, a spider, and a zombie. Attempts to communicate with the tiny adventurers are unsuccessful. The characters can't scoop them out and keep them as pets either. Same with trying to pilfer any of the treasure chests. Anybody who tries that shit takes 5 lightning damage. If the characters watch for a few minutes to see the miniature adventurers get to the last area of the miniature dungeon, look around the empty room quizzically. Walk through the door on the far side, then teleport back to the first room, where they start the whole crawl again from the beginning. The best thing to do in this scenario, as with most dealings with inferior life forms, is to put these itty-bitty assholes out of their misery once and for all. Figurines. When one of the monster figurines is placed into the dungeon, that monster comes alive and hungers for the flesh of tiny adventurers. The little adventuring party is capable of defeating the giant spider or the zombie, but the ogre or the young Treasure. After the destruction of the tiny adventuring party, one of the miniature treasure chests pops open. Inside is an unbelievably tiny wand of magic missiles. It works normally, but a character has a 50% chance of losing it each time it is used or put away. A detect magic spell can help find it again. Room 15. I think this will be the last room for today. Buttless Zombie Room. The doors in this room are open just a crack, regardless of which direction the characters approach from. A gravelly croak for help issues from inside the room. If the characters look inside, read my words. It stinks like old hamburger meat in here. Before you can come to appreciate the delicate bouquet, you see 5 zombies hunched over another rotten-looking figure in a plush-ass chair. It looks like the zombies are gesturing accusingly at the figure, which appears to be tied up. You miss a lot of the nuance of the zombie debate, though, since they're just grunting and moaning. If you wanted this room to be weirder, you're in luck, because these zombies have no butts. The figure tied to the chair is a ghoul, and the 5 zombies are accusing it of eating their butts, which it didn't. There's the ghoul. The butts in question were stolen by the butt trap in Area 10, but the zombies have terrible memories. Once any character makes their presence known, the zombies turn toward the party, and the ghoul in the chair calls out, "Help! Sorry, help! I know I'm a ghoul, and this could easily be my thing, but it isn't. The zombies think I ate their butts, but I swear I didn't. Help me, please." The ghoul implores the characters to go find the zombie butts and prove its innocence. The heroes can choose to find some butts or hang around and fight some zombies. Finding the butts. The characters can agree to help find the missing butts and return after they do. If they return to this room after the butt trap in Area 10 is destroyed, the zombies' butts are restored. The ghoul has freed itself and fled, but the zombies present. But the zombies present the room's treasure. See below to the characters. Fighting the zombies. If a fight breaks out, the ghoul capitalizes on the distraction and gnaws through the ropes finding it. It takes 1d4 rounds for the ghoul to escape. When it does, it apologizes profusely for its immense hunger, then attacks the party, undead. Am I right? Treasure. A small ring box is concealed beneath the cushion of the chair. The ghoul is tied to and can be found with a successful DC 13 Wisdom Perception check. When the box is opened, it dissolves into dust, which then reforms into a ring of protection. I'll go ahead and do these two rooms, that way I'll get to room 18, since I was on room 9 last time, or start the room. 16, Many Doors Room. At the center, let me start that again. At the center of this room floats a tiny orb of energy that lights up the area. The room has 2 other doors. The other doors can't be opened. You might suggest that having all the characters enter the room could help with that. The thing is, when they all enter the room, read the following. When the last of you enters the room, the door you all came through suddenly slams shut. I'm a big fan of doors slamming behind people. After the characters have processed this, read the following. The door you came through and the other doors are no longer alone. All the walls are suddenly covered with identical doors, 12 in all. Weirdly, you're no longer sure which door you came through to get in here. Getting out of the room isn't as easy as just going back the way the characters came, but be sure to let them try. Just passing through. The 12 doors are identical, and the weird glowing orb makes any creature in this area forget which doors are the real doors. Thankfully, that doesn't matter to start with, because opening any door causes another door to open at random. The characters looking through either door can see into what appears to be the same room. So two doors that go to the same place. Where was I? A character who passes through either door emerges through the other. Weird. After the characters open 3 doors and the players start to get real huffy, the magic of the room changes things up. Read the following to clue everyone in. All the doors suddenly fly open, but where you saw into the same room before, all you see now is darkness. Dimensional doors. Each open door still goes to the same place, which is to say, back into the same room through a random door. But each door now accesses the same room in a different parallel dimension. Each dimension has one difference from the others, determined by rolling on the Bonkers Dimensions table. A character who passes through a door immediately notices the novelty of the dimension. But the rest of the characters waiting in the room have always existed in this new parallel dimension, and they don't think it's strange at all. Here's the Bonkers table. So it's D12. Everything smells like licorice. Gross. So that means it also might smell like Jägermeister. Coins are sentient here, and they are aware that they are being treated and hoarded as property. The air tastes like lemon, but smells like lime. Laughter is backward here. Does that mean like when you laugh it sounds like it's going backwards? Or when you laugh you're like, it sounds like you're crying. All movement is done in dance. All light is fluorescent and irritating. A constant whines in the distance. All fire is pixelated. Okay. Every surface is slightly bouncy. People's hair grows. I'd say, since you've already got plural right here, these sentences in English always mess me up. It's plural right here, so I know it's more than one person. So if you just say people's hair grow, I know that we're talking about multiple people, so multiple sets of hair, and that they're going to grow. I don't think that you have to say grows. People's hair grow at an accelerated rate here. You can watch it happen if you pay attention. You are overwhelmed by the certainty that squirrels don't control this dimension. This is the exit door. Nothing is different in this dimension. You are free. Once the characters find the exit door, they can walk through it into Area 19. Once the characters leave the room, the light in the room goes out. All the extra doors disappear, and characters can now pass through this room without an incident. 17. Wizard's Room. Room 17. A long, wide room looms before you. Mysterious runes and patterns cover the room's walls and floors. Visible at the end of this long room is a sort of evil mage. Oh man, he's so evil. At least as evil as anyone can be under the lens of subjective morale, perimeters, and constantly moving ethical goalposts. He looks real tough, and he blocks the way to the next room. Figure it out. The evil mage cackles with glee and taunts the party. He looks like a cartoon fantasy wizard. So it makes me think of like, is it Fantasia or Anastasia? I get this mixed up. The one with the orchestra and Mickey as a wizard and stuff. It makes me think of that wizard that he stole the hat from. Long white beard, pointy blue hat, stars on his robe, that kind of shit. Mickey Mouse wizard. He declares himself invulnerable to any attack and tells the characters they can't pass unless they defeat him. He's real braggy about it too. It's super obnoxious. If the characters attempt to talk to the evil mage, he just gloats about his inability to be harmed. He can't be charmed, influenced, or reasoned with. Attacking the mage. When the characters inevitably I can't wait till all dogs go to electric, so they won't be so loud. Wouldn't that be nice? Everything just goes electric, so everything's just quiet, smooth running, no noises. Let's see. Attacking the mage. When the characters inevitably decide to attack, they find that the mage doesn't fight back, and that he's immune to all conditions and damage. Sorry about that. Oh, and that he's immune. Sorry. So he doesn't fight back, and he's immune to everything that they throw at him. With each different type of attack made against him, the mage only increases the number of things he brags about being immune to. Ha! No sword can pierce my flesh. Then, ha! No sword or arrow can pierce my flesh. Then add halberd, spikes, or pikes, you name it. He goes on and on like this. The same is true of magical attacks if the characters go that route. No spells affect the mage, and he just adds them to his laundry list of bragging. I really hate that these pages do that. But luckily, the rule book that this comes with doesn't do that so far. Runes and ray guns. Any character who inspects the walls or floor and succeeds on a DC 12 Wisdom Perception check notices that the patterns on the left wall make up huge runes representing the letters R and A. The right wall contains an equally huge and equally hidden U and N. Runes for Y and G are worked into the floor. Taken together from left to right, the runes spell ray gun. If anyone speaks any other word made up of those combination of letters out loud, ask them if it hurts to be so stupid. Then assure them that it does, and have them take 1 point of idiot damage. The first character to say the words ray gun out loud causes a fancy-ass futuristic ray gun to appear hovering in the air in front of them. Firing the ray gun is an action, and it's not only useful once. And it is only useful once. It's the only weapon that can hurt the evil mage. It can't miss and contains one blast of mage-seeking energy, which is to say, no matter what you fire it at, it hits the evil mage. When the ray gun is fired and the evil mage is hit, the blast sends him sprawling out of the character's path. The ray gun then vanishes forever, and the mage reacts with the following dramatics. The evil mage drops, holding his shoulder in agony. He screams, cursing, "This demon weapon he has never seen before." Okay. He calls you a piece of shit and other things. Real filthy stuff. We all know what I'm talking about. Good call bringing a ray gun to a magic fight. Alright, so now at room 18. I might actually, like, especially after I finish this, I'm just going to pull all these pages out and just re-glue them. Just re-glue them into here with some hot glue. A thin line of hot glue, because this is ridiculous. It honestly acts like, it looks like it's, was that perforated? Where it looks like it's supposed to come out. Like, look at that. It looks like they're supposed to come out. Why would you want your pages to come out of this book? It makes no sense. But, oh well. It was only 25